YouTubers! Mike Martins here. Mike Martins channel. Stop the press. What is going on, people? I got a article that was written here a few hours ago, and I want to share it with you guys. And it's from Down Under. And you know what? It is happening in every English-speaking country is experiencing the same phenomena. Sydney Morning Herald, first annual home price fall in 6 years. What have I been telling you people for the last decade? House prices in Australia, capital cities have fallen on an annual basis for the first time since 2012. Oh my God, what's going on, people? But the drop led to falls in Sydney, Melbourne, isn't considered significant in the scheme of things, given the dizzy heights of prices had reached. Capital city houses fell 0.7% nationally in the 3 months of June, according to the latest Australian Bureau of Statistics Residential Property Price Index released on Tuesday. They also fell 0.6% during the year to June 2018, the first annual fall recorded in 6 years. Annual fall, not monthly, not quarterly, annual fall. Those national falls can be largely attributed to price drops in the big markets of Sydney and Melbourne. The drop was greatest in Sydney in the June quarter, where the housing prices fell 1.2%, marking the fourth consecutive quarter in which they have declined. Prices to June, Sydney's second consecutive quarterly drop. The figures for the quarterly slightly worse than those posted in CoreLogic Sydney 0.9% and better than Melbourne's negative 0.25% for the quarter. Across the nation, ABS figures were largely in line with the CoreLogic numbers released in July. Less demand for homes and tightening of lending to investors played the role, as far as ABS chief economist Bruce Hawking said, but he stressed they weren't significant in the bigger picture. Yes, they are! These were falls of pretty high levels, he said on Tuesday. Sydney, over the past 5 years, is actually up 56%, so he quoted, "Where we've come from, these aren't significant. They tend to support those who suggest that we're probably in for a period of sustained flat prices, rather than any of those catastrophic falls that some of more dramatic forecasts tend to look at." House prices were also down in Darwin, 0.9%, and slightly down in Perth by 0.1%, but the prices rose in the June quarter in Brisbane at 0.7%, and Adelaide 0.3%, and Canberra 0.3%. I probably pronounced that wrong, don't freak out. And guys, remember, prices in certain areas are going to be skewing the benchmark average price across the board, because the cheaper cities and cheaper inventory is what people jump on. FOMO, fear of missing out. So a lot of people go to Hobart and all those other places, and they start propping up those markets and creating a housing problem in those areas, right? The softening market was noted in minutes of this month's Reserve Bank of Australia's board meeting, which were also released on Tuesday. Established housing market conditions overall had continued to ease, the minutes say. Housing price has been falling gradually in Sydney and Melbourne, and in recent months, the price declines had become more widespread across different suburbs and price segments. The RBA minutes say prices have fallen only moderately after significant growth in the recent years. So, guys, you know what you're looking at a crash? It's going to go back to normal levels. You're looking at a 40% decline. I've been saying 40, 60%. Everyone's laughing at me. Yeah, no. Listen to me, guys. Affordability is what's at stake here. Australian proper is what's at stake here. Once the middle class stops buying, consumer confidence goes down, and this is what happens. The RBA also flagged that due to the improving economic signals everywhere and notwithstanding doubts over global trade conditions, it is still expected the next move in the official interest rate would be upwards. JP Morgan chief economist Sally Alude said the Reserve Bank appear to be talking to the slower property markets and recent spate out of cycle interest rates in its stride. There's a little sign of concern on housing, nor recent rise in mortgage rates, she said. This is nothing in the minutes to suggest changes are immediate in the RBA's guidance on the rates to forecast. They were also up a whopping 3% in Hobart. Remember what I said about Hobart a minute ago, guys? Employment growth in Tasmania and more visits from tourists have likely pushed up the prices in the island's state capital, Mr. Hawking said. No, it's the middle class fleeing the big cities. That's what it is. They seem to be outperforming others for quite a while now, which is unusual for Tasmania. No, it's not unusual. When you can't afford to live somewhere, you move to where you could afford to live to, or live within your means. And a lot of people got smart. They left the big cities and left the tab, the infrastructure, all the taxes that they used to pay in those cities, and absorbent crazy rents. They moved to affordable cities, and that's a smart thing to do. They're marching to their own drumbeat. The average price of a home in Australia is $686,000. The figures show the total value of Australia's 10 million residential properties, $6.9 trillion, which has fallen $13.3 billion. So if that's not any sweat off your brow, $13.3 billion, let me know. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let me know what you guys think. And where are the people saying, oh, if you don't buy now, you'll never buy. You'll never own. You're bought out of the market forever. Where are those people? Comment below.